Hello, once again, everybody. Welcome to Soccer's Overtime, your weekly look inside the San Diego Sockers and the Major Arena Soccer League. Craig Elston, Jerry Jimenez, back with you. We are live on Twitch. We are back on our at San Diego Sockers channel, back on our business for another episode of Soccer's Overtime. We could have titled this one Group Therapy because we are getting together here to discuss a loss for the first time in 3 months, but the official episode title, Backs Against the Wall. The Sockers lose one game, and all of a sudden their backs are against the wall. That's the nature of this crazy Major Arena Soccer League Ron Newman Cup playoffs. Jerry, feel like I just saw you, man. How you doing?
We did just see each other, Craig. What a crazy night that was, man. I'm doing great. Other than the ending of that game kind of broke my heart a bit, and I'm sure a lot of us here. And yeah, this is group therapy. Why not? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to, as Susan Barber said, hey, please make it not hurt so much. We're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our absolute best. But it's good to be back with you here once again on a Tuesday on Twitch, sir.
On tonight's show, the top two seeds in the Ron Newman Cup playoffs, both heading home, both on the ropes. Is it going to be an upset-filled Ron Newman Cup finals? We will hear from Kraig, Chiles, Soccer's captain from Chihuahua, will join us to talk about last night's dramatic loss and will reveal his decision on the mustache moving forward. Plus, that's one, two guests, because joining us live at the bottom of the hour will be Soccer's general manager Sean Bowers, a championship player in his own right, the GM of the club, and we will get the front office perspective on what happened. Also, a man who was instrumental in instituting some of the coaching strategies for the San Diego Sockers. So, what are the different things we can learn from Sean Bowers? We're going to find that out at the bottom of the hour. We've got a new merch item to talk about at the Soccer's merchandise booth for Sunday. We've got a big game to talk about. So let's get right to it. That's what's happening here on this week's edition of Soccer's Overtime. Special hello to everybody who's joining us right now live on Twitch on our San Diego Sockers channel. Make sure to follow our channel at San Diego Sockers on Twitch so that you'll be notified live every time that we go live. Hello to everybody who's watching us in the future on replay on our YouTube channel at San Diego Sockers. And of course, hi to everybody listening to the podcast on Wednesday morning as it pops up in your phone. However, you've decided to subscribe to us. We are here for you to talk about the MASL, to talk about the San Diego Sockers, your team, if you support them. If you're a hater tuning in, welcome, haters. This is the one you were waiting to tune into. The last 23 episodes were no good for you.
This one, though.
This is the one.
This one. Yep, absolutely. So a couple of things really quick. Yes, everything's charged. Okay, everything's good. I did remember the charger tonight. Thank you for bringing that up. We're running. We're good. Wait, do the messages show up? I actually control it on my end. So, yeah, go ahead and send us your comments as, we're here on Twitch. We'll throw them up there. We're still working on the, command thing? I mean, we're not really working on that. I don't really want to have to do it. But, everybody, welcome in. There's so much to talk about.
Let's do it. All right, let's get into it. Last night, the Sockers played at Corner Sport Arena, and they lost 7-6 in overtime. It happened, Jerry. It's actually possible it happened. The Sockers lost a match.
It's okay.
It's been a while.
It was bound to happen here. I feel like if it was going to happen anywhere, it was going to happen in Chihuahua. I mean, what a crazy place to play. And, it was something that we had already talked about. I think everybody who's a Sockers and MASL supporter just in general expected this to be a very difficult game, right? And it was. And, I mean, it's Chihuahua. They've stepped it up. We said it during the broadcast. Their defense is so much stronger. They've learned how to defend in a small pitch like this one, in a small field. And so what do you do now is, you lick your wound and keep going. But, man, what a crazy game. What a crazy time.
It's been this way every time the Sockers and Chihuahua have met at Corner Sport Arena. You've got to say 3 of arguably the top 5 games of the year in the MASL have been Sockers and Chihuahua south of the border. Each one of these games going to golden goal overtime. And, as you see the early highlights as we're rolling it in for our viewers here on Twitch, we talked about it on the broadcast, Jerry. Over 2,500 people in the house at Corner Sport Arena, absolutely packed all the way up to the top row of the upper decks, and over 90 degrees on the floor in
Jeez.
terms of temperature. And you saw right at the beginning, Boris Pardo, guy trucking into him, the physicality, people right behind Boris's net giving him a lot of lip and a lot of stick. And it was just that type of forbidding atmosphere that some players don't react well to. Others, they love it. They just want to play in environments nothing more than like this.
Absolutely. No, I mean, why would you, right? And look, you see a little bit of green there, but very little, very minimal. Those green seats there definitely pop, but I don't think that there was, a soul in that arena that wasn't losing their voice rooting for Chihuahua at this point. And I mean, that makes it very difficult for a team that, I mean, we also have to bring up, and it's not an excuse. I'm going to say that right away. It is not an excuse, but it's the truth. The Sockers were shorthanded this game, Craig.
They were very shorthanded. They played without their top two scoring midfielders, Leonardo de Oliveira and Brandon Escoto, both of whom missed the game due to injury. Now, we had talked all week and all the way leading up to last night, Jerry, assuming that Leo would miss this game because he could not travel to Mexico, nor could Charlie Gonzalez, nor could Guerrero Pino. However, the Sockers, through the team's lawyers, worked out a 10-day pass for Leo and for Pino to make the trip to Mexico. Not sure why it didn't pan out for Charlie. Nonetheless, no Leo, no Escoto, and then no Charlie. And you're talking about three of the top 5 point scorers, but the top three midfield point scorers. Now, of course, Jerry, we were expecting that some of that scoring load would be picked up by the great Iran Pollo Ruiz, who would get the chance to play for San Diego for the only time in the playoffs and just the third time all year down in Chihuahua. However, maybe the worst news we got in this match was in a text message from trainer Paul Savage just prior to kickoff that Pollo rolled his ankle in warmups. And then he took another hit in the first quarter. And honestly, you didn't see much Pollo in this game. He was taking every fifth shift, but he didn't have that massive impact that you normally see Pollo have.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, we were missing somebody, like Leonardo de Oliveira. We were expecting Pollo to be able to step up, and he would have otherwise if it wasn't for that injury. And man, again, just bad luck for the Sockers all around in that end. But boy, we're seeing here on the screen. How happy were you to see Guerrero Pino though coming back and also playing in front of his mom, which I'm sure pumped him up.
Yeah.
But my goodness, I mean, he makes such a big difference as well. Every player on this team too. But yeah, absolutely. With Pino was in, which was great. But then having a hurt Pollo, it's not the same.
No, it's not. And playing in Chihuahua, it's not the same. It's not the same game. And of course,
Yeah.
we know that going in, it's not a matter of like it's a big surprise or we need to spend a lot of time talking about the size of the field. Everyone knew it, everyone planned for it and prepared for it. Again, it's a no excuse podcast. What changed though, and we did briefly mention this on last week's show, Jerry, and you mentioned it as well. Chihuahua, since we first saw them down at Corner Sport Arena, they figured out how to defend on the small field. They figured out how to get their team back five behind the ball and pack it in and make things tough. And when that happens, you see a very, very different game. And I think that's what we saw last night, a game that almost erases midfielders and midfielders' impact on the sport, because generally what you have is the ball either being moved around the outside by defenders around the perimeter, or you see the ball to the keeper and the keeper throwing it to a forward and initiating the ball with a thrown distribution, as we see Berna Valdivino setting up Papa Hernandez's go-ahead goal. Valdivino's had 2 assists last night as the goalkeeper, and it's a very different game, and there's a lot of balls that are in the air, and that's
Yeah.
something we'll even talk to Craig Giles about it coming up. But the Sockers, Jerry, and we talked about it a lot during the game, it felt like they just, anytime the ball was in the air, Chihuahua was first to it last night.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was absolutely a losing air war, I think is the way you put it. It's one of those things that the Sockers were not able to really keep good possession of the ball, especially when it was up in the air. And somehow Chihuahua just managed to get that ball up in the air every time, it seems. At the end of the day, the goal is to uh, keep the lights from going off as much as possible, right? I think
Yeah.
in Chihuahua, and it just we were not able to do that. It was a totally a back and forth. But man, what a wonderful showing from Chihuahua. I mean, we have to give them kudos. They did what they had to do, and they stopped the defending champions the way that they had to.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, it was a close game. And when it's close late in a hot, uncomfortable road environment, sometimes temperatures get hot. And that's the moment in the highlight reel that we're at, Jerry, is taking bad penalties in the second half. Felipe Gonzalez has shown a blue card. And listen, it was a really smart kind of dark arts play by Berna Valdivinos, recognizing that Felipe was right up on him and creating a situation where Gonzalez essentially had to run into him, and using that to draw the card. But there's no reason to argue about it to the point that you get a yellow on top of it. And then to have Cesar Cerda, who is wearing a captain's armband, come up and try and advocate, and he gets yellowed up as well. That was just really a negative stretch for San Diego in this game, taking two of the smartest, best defensive players off the floor. Then you get to a minute 18 left in the match. The Sockers chasing a goal, 6-5, going to sixth attacker, and just a devastating circumstance, Jerry. They played the ball back to Pardo to call timeout, but they brought Pardo back on the floor to throw the ball to start the sixth attacker possession, intending for him to throw it, run off. Serta runs on. Problem is, once again, the ball was in the air. What happened? Chihuahua won the ball in the air,
Mhm.
played it back to Pardo, and forced the Sockers into a blue card, too many men. Now, they pull the keeper to get to 5-on-5, and this magical moment happens that we're seeing live. Kraig Chiles doing Kraig Chiles things. The wall turns a little bit for Chihuahua. Chiles blasts into an inch-sized margin of error spot and puts the ball in and ties it at 6. You and I absolutely lose our mind on the English language broadcast, and we think that despite everything, at this moment, Jerry, it feels like the Sockers are magical
Yes.
because they have made huge mistakes. They have shot themselves in the foot. They have to pull the keeper just to get to even strength. They make the goal, but overtime
But
begins and Chihuahua still has the power play for too many men. And that's the one time you can really point at a defensive mistake by San Diego. When you watch the replay and they'll show the goal again, Eric Yon Ponce and Torres, Edgar Gonzalez, are passing the ball back and forth to each other at the top of the umbrella. And when the ball is passed to Ponce, the man guarding Torres, Mitchell Cardenas, drops off and he kind of sags down in toward the crease. And Torres just saw his spot, pointed. Watch on the replay, points to Ponce, says, "Give it to me here," and then is able to stutter step to get to his shot. So in that sense, soccer's not good on the defense there. However, even having said that, the window that Torres has to put that ball in the net is so small, and he has to curve the ball in order to get it inside the left post. That's a brilliant shot, an absolutely brilliant shot from a great finisher in this league, and somebody who, if you give him shots, he's going to score goals. And Torres scored 2 goals. He was not the focal point of the Chihuahua attack for most of the season, Jerry, but in the playoffs, guess what? He has been, and he comes up with the biggest goal of the lifetime of Chihuahua so far.
so far,
This is a first-year team, and they're now one win away from the Ron Newman Cup final.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can say bad about Chihuahua on that one. That was absolutely just a bit of a misstep from the defense of the Sockers. But hey, you know what? I feel like that goal, you know, again with one man down, I mean, it just couldn't have played it any better for Chihuahua. So again, they did what they had to do, you know, and I think that also, Craig, if our team would have kept their heads on a little bit, you know, tighter and not had those silly blue cards, bringing us down to that one man, I feel like it would have been very different. And maybe the overtime goes a little bit longer in this situation, right? It just it's tough to see because I don't think that the Sockers have really lost their minds at all this entire season, and here we
Yeah,
are, big game, a little bit of a it's loss of mentality there, and the Sockers now are again with their backs against the wall, right?
that's
Here
it.
we are.
That's the episode title. Backs against the wall. Here we are. Uh, San Diego, by the way, had the whole night to stew on it because the Sockers travel from Mexico back to the United States is taking place now. The team is just leaving their hotel now as we record this, 5:18 on a Tuesday night in California, to fly from Chihuahua to Tijuana to get back across the border. They won't get back across the border until closer to midnight tonight, and they had the whole day to be in Chihuahua today and just kind of sit on this, reflect. They got together as a team. They had a little walk around, to get the legs loose, and then they, chance to get lunch and a chance to ponder and think. I reached out to the team captain, our man of the match last night, Kraig Chiles, 2 goals, including the equalizer and assist as well. And because like I said, right now they're on the move, so we couldn't get a player to join us live. However, Kraig was able to join us. We caught up to him a little bit earlier. And I know everyone has the biggest question. What's the deal with the mustache? So let's go ahead and roll the interview and you can find out for yourself. Hey, there's the answer. There he is, the clean. All right, Jerry, there's the answer. There he is, the clean shaven captain. Kraig Giles is joining us right now from his hotel room in Chihuahua as the club gets ready to head back stateside. Cap, obviously, it was such a dramatic match last night. You had overnight to process. What are your thoughts right now?
Yeah, honestly, it was a disappointing result for the club, and we were a little bummed yesterday at the end of the game that it didn't go our way. But the truth is, it wasn't one of our better games. And when you're playing really good opposition like Chihuahua, everybody's got to perform and bring it. And so we feel good about the second leg. We are down, but we're definitely not out, and we're ready to put up a big fight back home.
You got to play when Chihuahua opened their arena for the first time, and both those games were golden goal, overtime, wacko, 60th minute equalizers. So certainly you're familiar with the pressure, but tell me about the atmosphere last night, because it was packed. It was jammed through the upper deck, and from the reports I got, it was extremely hot on the floor as well. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was great, honestly. And those are the games that the players are looking forward to. It was packed in there. I think it was standing room only and if not sold out. And it was loud. It was a great atmosphere. The surface is great. It was hot in there, but we discussed that. We're not the kind of club that's going to make excuses about what's going on, and it's hot for them too. And we wanted to get out there and really put out a competitive game on that field. And so it was a little bit hot in there, and their atmosphere definitely benefited them, but it was fun to play there.
One thing that really stood out, well, a couple of things stood out, but one for sure is that Chihuahua, since the last time we saw them down in Mexico, figured out a way to get behind the ball and really defend and learn how to defend on that short field. It felt like you guys were facing a parked bus a lot.
Yeah, they honestly, they put together a really good game plan, and they stifled out our offense a little bit. We were limited in transition, which we've been very good at all year. And so kudos to them, and we feel like the big field at home and that extra space is going to be an advantage to us.
Unquestionably so. Now, the last minute and a half had to be vexing for you guys, the veterans on the team. You call a timeout with 1:18 left, and you come out of the timeout with Boris still in net. try to bring the sixth attacker on the small field. Ball gets played back to him. Boom. You guys are nailed for a penalty. How crippling that self-inflicted wound.
Yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt a little bit. And honestly, and been around the game a long time, and I haven't really seen that play happen. Just so everybody's aware, once the goalie makes a motion to the board, the other goalie can go. So Boris started to make a motion, which released Serta onto the field. And for a minute, they're allowed to be cross-secting as long as Boris doesn't play the ball secondary, which happened because of, a bad play up front. We struggled to hold that ball up, and it got bounced back into Boris. And when he played the ball, then it became too many players. So it wasn't like, we didn't understand the rule at all. It was that one step back Boris had to take to play the ball, kind of caught the group off guard. And, from there, it was, oh crap, this just got a lot more difficult. However, we've scored some goals on the man down, and we knew that we just needed a half chance at some point.
Which, of course, you get it and you convert. It was such an exciting moment in the match. It certainly was a moment that had Jerry and I on the broadcast thinking that soccer's magic was on the way. Another thing that really stood out last night, Kraig, was aerial challenges. Obviously, the ball in Chihuahua is going to be in the air so much because it's always being thrown by either goalkeeper. But it really felt from the broadcaster's perspective that, like, I don't know, 80-85% of aerial challenges went to Chihuahua. What are your thoughts on that?
That's how I felt. I rewatched a little bit of the game as well, and I know Tavoy and myself struggled to hold the ball up against Miller and Conte and Escalante, the big boys in the back for them, and vice versa a little bit. I know that's something that we'll focus on. Sometimes it's your body positioning, sometimes it's the effort you put in, sometimes it's the distribution out. And so whatever it was, collectively, it probably wasn't good enough as a group. And we've got to be more combative. I can also say at our home field with more space, there's more balls that will come over the defender's head. There's more balls that will be played in front of the defender. In that field, there's a 10-foot radius, and it's basically the lion's den. You can't really avoid it.
Well, last thing, Kraig, I mean, I don't know that you ever guys make a plan like, well, we're going to go undefeated. The team won 22 in a row. Once you got past the regular season threshold, you knew there's ever going to be a loss anywhere along the way. The very next game, the Sockers will be playing an elimination game. You'll be playing for your lives. So here it is. You've dropped a game on the road. You're going to have to win two. It means you have to start by winning one on Sunday against the Savage. So what is the mindset of the team? What is the attitude heading into the circumstance?
Yeah, initially it's disappointment, and then you kind of look deeper into it, and maybe it's the wake-up call we needed to remotivate and revamp the group into the next game. And so sometimes when you win the first game, you go into the second game a little bit casual and complacent. And so we're fully aware now that our back's against the wall, and we're going to come out and we're going to fight. And I think that's going to, benefit the group overall on Sunday night.
Well, on the Spanish language broadcast, they called you Senor Mustacio. Now you're Senor Muy Limpio. Extremely clean. And thank you so much. Have safe travels for yourself and the team coming back. And thanks for sneaking in a few minutes for the Soccer's Overtime audience.
You got it. Thanks, Kraig.
Kraig Chiles, let's lift one up to the mustache. The stash is gone. Long live the stash.
He looks so young. You see some of the comments coming in. I see all of you commenting here. Yeah, he looks absolutely different. So weird, but that's we have old Kraig back, I guess. It's just I was not expecting that at all, Kraig. When I saw it right now, I was like, wait, he doesn't have a mustache. What's going on? And
as soon as I saw him when we connected on Zoom, I said, okay, I'm not going to bring it up. I'm just going to let the picture tell the story. Once we play the video, everyone will know the mustache is gone. I mean, you remember when we had him on after that Tacoma trip, he said he had the razor in the locker room at halftime.
Yeah.
It was like, if we're losing at the half, this thing is gone. And they had never lost, of course, all the way through. So the stash stayed. Now the stash is gone. However, and I agree with what I'm seeing a lot in the comments right now, Jerry. Mature, professional, keeping it upbeat. keeping it positive. That is what you just heard from Kraig Chiles. You know, a very reasoned, mature veteran response, I'd say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And here's a good question from John San Diego 609. How many championships did Kraig win with a mustache exactly?
Yeah, right. Good point. Yeah. He was trying to get number one. You know, he was going for number one, but now that's okay.
Yeah, his
It's
point
fine.
is, I think John's point is here, right here. He doesn't need it to win it. So yeah, no, what a great response from Kraig Chiles. What else can you expect from the man, the myth, the legend?
What an amazing moment. And in fact, you know, I saw someone earlier in the comments saying, boy, I felt seasick from the camera work last night. And of course, we were dealing with a second generation video coming from Chihuahua. And so there would be buffering and there'd be lagging. But I did, while I was at work earlier today, Jerry, I took the cleaner video feed and I paired it with our audio feed to relive that magic moment with 11, or was it 14? How many seconds were on the clock? Oh, that's annoying how the scorebook at Chihuahua always seems to change just a little
Interesting.
bit. Nonetheless, I thought this would be, before we bring on our special live guest, a fun moment to share because you and I, we were in a good mood when this goal happened.
Absolutely. So let's watch.
Are you kidding me? They've got a score on this, obviously.
These games in Chihuahua. I don't know, man. I don't know. How are we feeling in the chat, everybody?
Can Kraig Chiles pull up some magic? Will it be Rojo? Could it be Morgan? Chiles. He scores! Are you kidding me?
Let's go, Suckers!
Are you kidding me, San Diego? Kraig Chiles! Kraig Chiles! The captain of the San Diego Sockers, their all-time leading scorer, their all-time leading goal man. At 14:49.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Anne Marie there in the background.
Yeah, Anne Marie, little background, ambience.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
That was fun.
that was a lot of fun. What a golazo.
Yeah, what a goal, man. So, and then we rescued a point. Oh, no more points.
Ugh.
I don't want to hear that. By the way, even if something horrible happened in overtime on Sunday, I don't want to hear people go, "Well, we never lost in regulation."
Yeah. All right.
You know? Like, oh, it still burns, but what a magical moment. What an absolutely magical moment it was. Thank you to Kraig Chiles. I think that maybe that helps everyone here in our URSAT's group therapy session to hear the guy who was right in the middle of it. You feel his calm, positive energy. Maybe it helps everyone get into a good mood. Let's bring on another special guest who can help us deal with our feelings, get us out of our feelings, and get us ready and focused for Sunday. He is one of the great indoor players in his playing career, where he was known as the Tower of Power out of the back. Now he is the GM of the San Diego Sockers. He's got a championship ring. He's got a Ron Newman Cup in his office. It just hangs out in his office. And he's hoping to add another. We welcome on Sean Bowers, who's appeared on video before, but is making his live Sockers Overtime debut here on Twitch with Kraig and Jerry. Hi, boss. Sean, how you doing?
Boss.
Everything good?
I'm cheering to Kraig right now. I'm joining you guys. Here you go. Cheers to Kraig.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Appreciate
Also
it.
drinking water as well today. My throat's not feeling too great after yesterday.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
we got a question right away in the chat, Sean, from a Jonathan Green. Is that a playoff beard?
Of course, Jonathan, it is. It is a playoff beard. We're not supposed to shave, although someone did. I'm not going to mention any names, Shane Brown, but he definitely shaved and cursed us a little bit last night. So we need to regroup, coming in for Sunday.
Now that Chiles has shaved his mustache, is shaving now the thing we're doing as a soccer's team? Is that a thing now?
I guess, whatever works. I actually did this my rookie year in 1991 when I played, and we actually won the championship, and I had a full, now it's gray, but it was, red and black, and it was huge, and it's something I've always done. Kind of superstitious, good luck, and we hit a little roadblock yesterday, but I think for the most part we are definitely ready for Sunday, and we're going to regroup. I cut the tail end of Kraig's interview, and a lot of things that he said are very true, and I haven't had the ability to talk to anybody from the team, but all those things that he said is true. And we're now fighting for our lives, in terms of Sunday's it, and if we don't bring it on Sunday, we're not going to have another day on Monday. So I think it's good for us. I think it's going to put a reality check to a lot of us, and I think that this is what we played for in the regular season. The regular season, 23-0-1, is so that if something like this came up, we're ready for it, and we will be prepared.
We've seen a lot of comments here about how the Dana erupted on that Kraig Chiles goal. I'm interested to see, because we weren't there. We didn't get to actually, live that. And that's one of the things that I was very sad about, but also very excited to be able to bring the English broadcast. But you were there, I believe. So can you kind of give us a recap? How was that? Did you guys have fun? I would hope.
It was amazing. I think we had almost 60 people there, which is the biggest, watch party that we've had. And everybody was excited. They were on the roller coaster that I'm, hearing you guys on the roller coaster and the broadcast. That, it was amazing. And I was sitting next to my parents were actually there. My wife was there watching it, and we were down 6-5. And I said, hey, we're going to score. Like, I just felt that we were going to, and everybody had that vibe. And literally when Kraig put the ball in the back of the net, everybody went crazy. I mean, it was amazing. It was a great experience. And again, unfortunately, we didn't get the last goal, but I think at the end of the day, like I said before, we will be ready. We have a couple of days of practice, and I think it's, guys are coming home with a little chip on their shoulder. And I think that, we need to play with a little bit of attitude. I think one of the greatest things that Kraig said was we need to be more combative. We know this is our home. They're coming into our home. We've been very successful here. And, if they're going to try to win, they're going to have to come through us. And, when we're ready to go, we're a hard team to beat.
Boss, I know we both reviewed game film today, and one thing that really stood out to me is there's that old saying, right? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And I feel like I see some imitation from Chihuahua in terms of low pressure, in terms of committing to defense, to getting 5 behind the ball, to being comfortable defending, having that ability to step back and to take care of things in that way. As such, I almost feel like they kind of took a little bit of a page out of the soccer's book in terms of how to defend them on that small field.
Yeah, whatever they're doing, it's working, right? So I think the team that they are now is completely different to when they started the year. I know they added some players, and I think that, they added a coach, and they've got great direction there. They've got great leaders there. That's a very hard place to play. The atmosphere, from what I understand, was not only hot, but just a crazy atmosphere. So we took that all in stride, and I don't use this as an excuse, because I'm not an excuse person, but we were missing a couple players. So we took it in stride, and we did as what we could. We kicked, we went out there and we did what we had to do in terms of it just wasn't enough, and I think when we come back to our place, we are a different team. And now you put a little salt on the wound, and now, I know this team. I will just tell you, being part of many indoor teams my whole life, not only as a player, as a general manager, this by far is the closest team that has ever been connected as a team in their locker room. When the chips are down, many times during this year, the chips were down and we responded. So there is nothing less that I expect for us to respond to this next game. And the next 2 games.
Yeah, perfect segue into my question, which is, you mentioned actually the atmosphere in Chihuahua. We saw the supporters there behind Boris on the net. Now coming home, now the team has to show up. But let's talk about the supporters a little bit and what a difference it is, especially as a player, and you've experienced it. I mean, how important is it for not just Section 19, but the entire Grand Ole Arena to be rocking for the next 2 games here on Sunday?
Yeah, originally we had a Thursday date and we changed it to Sunday because we thought it was this game and both games are going to be important, and we were right. So, I implore everybody to come out. We want to, set an example for the whole MASL. The reality of it, the San Diego Sockers, is it's really championship or bust with us. And I think that's a culture that we've set. I think it's a culture that was set in 1978 all the way through to it is right now. So we need to bring that in. The MASL, looks what we do a lot. Soccer is our organization, our players, our staff. We like to think, and we are second to none. And so in saying that, we need that from our crowd. We need people to show up. We need us to be, crazy soccer fans. I think the supporters group has added some culture into what we do at home, which I don't think we've had before. Beating the drums and flags waving, and the experience is that much more having the supporters group. We had the supporter shield last week. Tozier presented that to myself and to the organization, and I handed it right off to Cowboy and to Adrian for the supporters group set. And it was an amazing experience. Kraig had a lot to do with it. He put it together. Kudos to Kraig and to you, Jerry. And that is what we need. We need this culture within indoor soccer that when I was in high school, I used to watch the San Diego Sockers play, and there was 10, 11, 12,000 people there all chanting Sockers and the old disco ball and bringing back memories. So that's what we want to create. And I will tell you, I've had a tremendous amount of fans that have come up to me and say, this by far is the best team and best put together organization, coaching staff that they've ever seen over the last 20 to 25 years.
Wow.
With a chance to continue to take that next step forward. One of the guys, Sean, that we've talked about literally for 3 years, got a chance for the first time on Monday night to wear a Sockers kit and play in a Sockers match for the Sockers, and that's Ishmael Rojo. We call him Big Rojo. He's been the star of SD Sockers 2 in 2 different seasons, and every year we've said, well, if he could play for us, he would play for us. P1 visa issues have been a thing, but how impressed were you with the way Ishmael Rojo was able to kind of seamlessly fit into a team that needed scoring help last night and contribute a goal and 2 assists?
I mean, really, in any sport, right? You jump into a game. It usually, even to a team, it takes you numerous games to get used to. Sometimes even a full season to get used to the team, that you're playing with. He did it right away. He made a difference, not only scoring a goal, assist that he had, but he was a presence out there. They knew a lot about him anyway, and so they had to defend that way. And I think you saw that once we got the ball, and kudos to their coach, is they got 5 behind the ball, and anytime he got the ball, and even his brother got the ball, because they know that they're very offensive minded, they slid 2 people over there, and they didn't let them really take them 1v1. There was always 2 people around the ball when he was on the ball. So very proud of him. Obviously he was a major part of our M2 championship, and it was great to see him finally play and have a Sockers uniform on for the first team.
What would you say now, looking ahead, right, for the next 2 games? I'm just gonna keep saying that, Kraig, by the way. Don't mind me.
Oh, no, I like that. I mean, I
like
appreciate it. You know how I am, though. I'm so I always don't want to ever offend the soccer gods. We got to win game 2.
No.
Let's win game 2.
You also want to be positive. So there's different ways of looking at it, but that's the way I'm gonna do it. You choose however you want to.
Fair.
I'm with you, Jerry. All
right, good. All right, boss. But really now looking forward to the next 2 games, right? We saw what they were able to do in Chihuahua. Now, obviously coming home, what are you looking at the Sockers needing to do as far as tightening up things for this coming Sunday?
Well, like Kraig said, looking at the video, I'm a big video person. I like watching it. I like, analyzing it. I like putting together game plans. And really, I think it's just paying attention to detail. All the little details that when you look back on the game, kind of hindsight, right, is, making sure we're tighter on our man, making sure, a free kicks, we know they're very dangerous with left footers, power play, making sure that we push them to a different side, knowing that the guys on this side is left footed and the guy on their side's right footed, and making sure we have the angles and winning balls in the air. I think Chihuahua did a great job. What do we say, 85-90% of all the balls that were in the air. We need to compete. I think we need to compete harder. I think we need to have a chip on our shoulder, and I think we have to have attitude. One of the things as a coach, whether I coached it in the youth level, professional level, college level, is you always want to step on the field and play like it's your last game. And now the reality of it is if we don't come to play, it would be our last game or games. And so what we need to do is we need to have that chip on our shoulder. They're coming to our house where, over the last 6 years since I've been there, Kraig's been there, we've been very, very good at home. And, we should be ready for this task. And anytime you come off a loss, there's a lot of things that you can look at. But I have a lot of faith in our team. I have a lot of faith that we're going to win both of these games. And, I have a faith in our organization, our staff, our players. And I'm ready for Sunday to come right now, to be honest with you.
I told you at the office, Sean, I'm not going to be able to sleep well until Sunday at 5:05, and then I'm going to fall asleep like a baby right at 5:05 on Sunday. I'm just going to pass right out. But I think all of us are going to be on pins and needles for this one. But it just kind of reminds me of a couple of things that make the soccer special, Sean. And one of those is meeting the moment. This is an organization that generally rises to meet the moment. And I think Chihuahua had their moment on Monday as a franchise, a glorious moment in their franchise's history to end the greatest team in the league's 22-match winning streak, to take a step toward the Ron Newman Cup Finals as an expansion franchise, just incredible. But now it's on the Sockers' rise to meet that moment, as you saw Fernando Clavijo and Julie V and Gene Wilrich and David Banks and everyone on down the line, and Kraig Chiles and Cheeky Luna and Anthony Medina and Diego Rivera, like everyone who has come before to rise and meet that moment. That's what Sunday is all about to me for this club.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't want to take anything away from Chihuahua. What an amazing team! They played well in the first game. They kind of took it to us in certain instances, and like I said, I think we need to play better. But at the end of the day, we need to do what we do, and I think that's the most important thing coming into Sunday. Pay attention to what we're doing. Pay attention to the details that we need to do better. And to be quite honest, and Kraig, you know this, I'm a very competitive person. We need to take it personal. We need to step on the field and know that someone might be taking something away from the ability to an opportunity to win another championship. And I think that that's what we have to bring. And then we have to bring that chip on our shoulder that, hey, it's personal for us. And I know they did down there. And again, kudos to them, what they did for it. But now it's our turn and we're going to be at home.
I wonder if any Chihuahua supporters are going to be making their way down here. That's going to be interesting as well to see. If that does happen, are we allowing anybody wearing a Chihuahua jersey in, Sean?
We always allow them in, right? The more fans, the better. But I think they're going to be outnumbered 1,000 to 1, hopefully. So
I hope so.
Well, last thing, and I know I said this to you earlier today, but in 2019, it was like this, right? A team that won, it was 23 games in a row going into the semifinals against Mexico. And it was Monterrey, and that game was an overtime loss, and it was a golazo. That night it was Vaca. Last night it was Torres, a guy who was on the floor that day. But the difference between 2019 and today is the Sockers have a second bite of the apple. And I just have to give a lot of credit to a place that hasn't gotten a ton of credit on Sockers overtime the last few weeks, the Major Arena Soccer League front office, for putting together the fairest playoff format in the history of the league this year, and to have the 1v8, 2v7, to have it not broken out by region, and to have 3 games per series. Because the one thing I think we all felt is that to win it, to win at that level and then have it come down to one game, one call, one bounce, beating a great team twice is so much more of a significant task than beating them once. And frankly, that's what the Savage have to do on Sunday is beat the Sockers twice. And I feel like, hey, if nothing else, we can say we have this chance.
Yeah, that you kind of brought back some heartbreak there when you brought 2019, because I think we were all devastated, But to say that, I think there's a lot of guys on the team still on the team, and I think that they learned from it. But more importantly, last year was a very big learning curve for the whole team. And I think that's what we have going. One of the things that we have going for us this year too, is that, we didn't have a very good regular season last year, but we put it all together with our playoff run and won a championship. And a lot of guys were part of that. That's part of this team. So they have been through the ups and downs, and the leadership is amazing this year with Chiles and a couple other players, Serta. And guys have gone through not being successful over the last year or two until we won the championship last year. So I think that's going to something that they're going to look at, and they're in the heat of battle and what they've done before, and not get too high and not to get too low. And I told you that, Kraig, before we even started the series, is no matter what happens in the first game, if we go down there and win, we can't get too high. And if we go down there and we lose, we can't, beat ourselves up. We got another game to do, and we need to prepare that team. And really, that's what the goal is the next 4 or 5 days with the coaching staff, the players, get refocused and ready to go. And I like the position. I'd much rather be in this position right now than having to go down to Chihuahua and win 2 games down there. We're going to be at home winning 2 games here, and I think that's very important.
Love it.
Great point. All right, boss, we're going to let you go. General Manager Sean Bowers, thank you so much. Taking a little time away from the family to join your Sockers family.
Yes,
here,
love it.
online on Twitch.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Sean.
You bet. Thanks so much. We'll see you at the office tomorrow. Sean Bowers, right there, the leader of the ship.
That's right. You know what I'm excited for is, everything goes according to plan, Kraig. We still have 4 games to play.
I know.
And
Well,
hopefully
now.
not 5.
Oh, well,
hopefully
you're right. Oh, God.
4.
Yeah,
5.
4. Yeah.
So,
4.
no,
4.
I
Oh, my
absolutely, one of the things for me being new to the organization, I love Sean, just as not just a boss, and we call him boss, but he's Sean, and he's such an amazing person, but he's also like he's an amazing person. He's not just a good boss, but he's an amazing human being, who actually genuinely cares, and you can hear it in his voice. I mean, he's pumped. He's been there before, so he knows what needs to be done. I think everybody knows what needs to be done. This is such a special team, and it starts right from the top with somebody like Sean. So I'm glad that he was able to come on and share some time with us.
Absolutely. Unlike most of the back halves of our live Soccer's Overtime episodes, we don't have a ton on the back half here, Jerry, because normally we handle all of the voluminous MASL news in this segment. MASL news is a short segment. Kansas City beat Florida in game 1, 8-7 on Saturday night. Kansas City took care of their home field. And in a very offensive-minded game, you say, oh, well, your game was 7-6, their game was 8-7. Isn't that the same game? It wasn't, because the small field lends itself to a 13-12 score, and playing 7-6 is playing kind of a defensive game. 8-7 at Kansas City is a wide open game. Both teams had offensive chances. I don't think either team played especially great in net or defensively. Ray Lee had a huge game for Kansas City. And now, hey, just like anyone else is saying about us, Jerry, we're going to find out something about the Tropics on Saturday. Do they have what it takes to win twice at home?
The Tropics also have their backs against the wall, Kraig. They're defending their home turf. That's what happens. And we have to do the same, and I'm sure that Florida will do that. I honestly think that it comes down to just the importance of playing at home for these 4 teams. And we're going to see a very interesting Kansas City game at Florida. I think it's going to be a very fun one too to watch. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see how that turns out. Very, very excited.
I tend to agree with Kay Vibbard in the chat that this could be a series and a semifinal where the home team goes 6-0. Where the two road visitors were good enough to win their home game, but then they come home and the 2 home teams can take care of business, win the home games, win the mini games. Mini games just get you scared, though. I'm sorry, Commissioner. Extra time gets me scared. Yeah, extra time. Whatever. The knockout game. Everyone is still calling it the mini game.
It's going to be a while. It'll take a little bit, but we'll get there. It's extra time, everybody. We'll get there.
The extra time. You know what I heard a lot was the extra time mini game. I'm sure they absolutely loved that.
Listen,
front office.
We were talking about it during one of the games. I don't remember, and I was in the chat. I've been trying to be a little bit more active during other teams' games, and I started calling it a death match, and I think it's picking up some steam. it's not extra time. We should just call it, Commissioner, if you're listening. It just adds that extra oomph, Kraig. Like, once we win this home game, we go into a death match.
And then Tina Turner comes out to midfield, and she's just all, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Yeah. Yes.
Thunderdome.
Thunderdome. Sunday. Be there. It's gonna go down in a death match at Pechanga Arena. Yeah, that's just, I don't know. It adds a little bit of flavor.
Tiny little asterisk on the graphic. No one will actually die.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm all about the mini game. I'm calling it the knockout game. Sockers need to get to the knockout game, and then they need to knock out Chihuahua. Sockers are going to have to win 2 elimination games to get to the final. And if they do, it's going to be so gratifying and so exciting. And it's going to feel like it was a necessary step to become champions. I really do believe that this team has had this coming for a while. And I don't mean by that they've been playing poorly and getting away with it with random 1-goal results. That's not it. The team's been playing well, but 22 in a row against top competition and every road, result and every single thing going their way. And then okay, win this trip without Chiles, win this trip without Pino, win this trip without Serta. Like, there's been different challenges all along the way, but go to Chihuahua with a sellout crowd without Leo and Charlie and Escoto and Pollo, most of Pollo, and try and win down there. That wound up being the one challenge that the Sockers still took to overtime, but couldn't finish. So now take all the lessons from that. And the biggest thing, and Sean said it, Jerry, at the end of that interview, the Sockers can't overreact.
Yeah.
And that's what I think made that Chiles interview that we played in the first half hour so affirming, because there's the man who's setting the tone. There's the man who's talking in the locker room, talking at practice. And even if the adults around here are nervous, right? The players are calm and they understand who they are. And I think that's going to be critical, because you got to have that mindset. You got to come out. You want to have a strong beginning to that match on Sunday. You want to take it to them right away. And when you do, you kind of reestablish, hey, we're the Sockers. We're the number 1 team here. You have to come in and beat us. And as such, I really feel like that's the key. Don't overreact. Don't panic. Let's not all run into a 3-hour training session tomorrow and go crazy and burn everyone's legs out or get somebody hurt. Like, you know who you are. You know what you need to do. Let's just take care of business.
Yeah, I 120% agree with that. That's going to be the biggest one. Just keep it cool. You know what you have to do. Let's be the better team in this one. Let's keep our heads on the way they need to be. And, everything will go fine. Like we see it in the comments as well. People are saying just Sockers got to play the way the Sockers play. Just do our thing the way that Sean said it as well. So I'm glad we're all in agreement here, sir.
Yeah. And I mean, I like it as well from Kay Vibert. What did the Sockers do against Florida? They came out, curb stomped them early, right? Just really took it to them early. If it's 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 right away, then everyone in the arena will know. Including the Savage. They will understand the night that they're in for. And then they're going to have to start making decisions. If the Sockers get ahead on Sunday in game 2, then they're going to have to start making decisions in terms of, well, how much fight do we really want to put into this game? Because, on one side, we could come back. We're down 4-0. Maybe we can come back. But on the other side, if we burn all of our legs and still lose this game, we've got to play the mini game, the curb stomp team deathmatch mini game. Is that what is that the official?
Yeah.
Is that the official name now? The curb stomp deathmatch mini game presented by Applebee's.
No, the curb stomp team deathmatch mini game extra time. Gotta throw that in there. 2 piece So, I love this, by the way. So everybody buy a ticket for Sunday. It's a buy one, get two games.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
buy one game, get second game free on the same night. I think that's
I took down
stop
yours.
pressing on stuff, Kraig.
I tried to do it too. I
Look,
know. I should just let
look,
you do the
this
thing.
is why I'm the producer around here. Okay, so
That's a good point. That's a good point.
but there you go. No, I like that idea. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. I like it.
I think so too. All right. One more note for you. Winds up being an hour episode of Soccer's Overtime. Whoever thought that it could possibly happen? Right there over my right shoulder, if you are watching us live on Twitch or you're watching the replay on YouTube, you see the beautiful playoff edition navy blue San Diego Soccer script logo hoodie created by our friends at Flight Sports. And this will be on sale at the Soccer's merchandise stand on Sunday only. This is a brand new playoff only merchandise item that is being rolled out by the San Diego Sockers for the discount price of $50. So a great price, a low price for right there, the Sockers Navy hoodie. Jerry, you got a chance to try it on yesterday. Tell them how it feels.
Oh, like heaven. No, it's really nice material. It's really thin and cool. And not thin like in a bad way. I mean, like it's not extra, material. It's just it fits perfect. I absolutely love it. So yeah, no, I know that. Is that the only color they're gonna have, that navy blue? Or is there any other colors?
No, that's the navy blue is what's going for sale. I know
Okay.
there's a royal blue that we saw Farbs wear on the show before, and that you might have seen me wear yesterday as well. But Marlisha's exactly right. It's the perfect weight hoodie for San Diego for a morning walk, for an evening stroll. Where it's not designed for the 30-degree weather. It's designed for that nice 55, 60-degree evening. Absolutely perfect. I'll be putting that on to walk the dog when the show's over. Great fit, really comfortable, nice and smooth. Check it out, $50 at the Soccer's merchandise stand on Sunday. Also, if you're bringing kids to the game on Sunday, we're gonna give them a
Why
vuvuzela.
are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Because I know what happens.
What
I
happens?
don't want the parents of small children not to come because we're
Because of
giving
the
them a
vuvuzela.
vuvuzela. Well, I was going to come to this exciting match, but then you told me that my 6-year-old boy is going to get a vuvuzela, and now I'm not so sure. So that's why I had a social post earlier this week, Jay, that said apologies in advance to the parents, but not to our opponents.
Yeah, well, not just that. Okay, parents, you can take away the vuvuzela and tell them that, or not take a vuvuzela actually, and that would help you if you don't want one. But they'll be there for the kids. For the kids. I'm excited for those. So those are they're just smaller vuvuzelas. Are they noisy? We'll find out. Better be there on Sunday.
Yeah, and there are adult vuvuzelas, by the way, at the merchandise stand available.
well,
I think
there
they're
you
like
go.
$7 or $8. So I mean, it's
Oh, yes. Get you one and just park yourself right behind Comandante the entire game.
I was just watching another highlight of how ticked off Valdivinos just doesn't seem like a happy guy.
No, so he's
I feel
like
like he
this.
needs to find love in his life.
Kraig, this is what I noticed. Berna is, like smiling. He comes in, and then the whistle blows, and his face goes like immediately. I hate everything. No, but he's such a good goalkeeper. I mean, we saw some of those saves yesterday. Wow.
He was good. He did the splits to stop Tavoy's header, and then he got up and he threw an assist on the same play. Berna's really solid. He's the master of the small field. He's one of the winningest goalkeepers in the MASL by percentage. He's got one of the highest winning percentages in MASL history. He's El Sargento, and he will be there, but so will the Sockers, and so will Boris Pardo, and so will our guys. And listen, as I said on Twitter this morning, everything I do between here and 5:05 on Sunday, it's an act of me distracting myself from thinking about the match on Sunday, because all I can think about is this match on Sunday and getting to it and getting through it and getting that win, and then being in that 10-minute period of agony as the teams go to the locker room and you think about the mini game. I mean, what was it again? The team knockout death match mini game.
Extra time.
Extra time. Presented by Applebee's.
There it is.
Just had to make sure I got it all right. That's all I can do. That's all I can think about is this match. And like our man Tony here. Is that Tony or is it Toy Runner? I've never been more excited for a Sunday ever. That's how I'm feeling.
Yes.
That's
needs to be the mentality.
Let's finish it with a clarion call to action. Okay.
Yes.
We've said this before. You know, there's dozens of people watching this show live right now. There are dozens more watching this on replay. There are hundreds listening to the podcast. I need each one of you to be deputized this week. You need to be deputy sales officers for the San Diego Sockers, because it's not enough now to say, I'm going to be there. I mean, it's great. We want you to be there. And if you're not being there and you tell me you're going to be there, it is enough. Okay. But if you're one of our regulars, if you are one of the folks watching, we need more. We need you to be posting this week. We need you to be calling your friends. We need you to be dialing up your mate that you've gone to a game before with, but hasn't gone in a couple years, or your family that sometimes comes out, but sometimes doesn't. Everyone needs to know. Because one thing I think about San Diegans are bandwagon to some extent, but we rally around our own, you know, and I almost feel like there has been a level of, oh, the Sockers win again, another win, another easy win. Well, maybe I'll turn up when it's the championship game. It's so boring. The Sockers do nothing but win. Well, here we are. This is an elimination game. This is a death match, a curb stomp team death match. And we need every single person to make that home field untenable for the Chihuahua Savage, to make it impossible for the Savage to be able to get their footing. Let's get over that 2,000 mark. Let's get over to that 3,000 mark. As Keith says, if every one of our regulars brought 2 people, we're there. Oh, okay. We got a little J-Lo.
Of course, I had to do it for John. He said in the chat, we'd like J-Lo. Let's get loud.
I feel like we're at the inauguration now.
Yeah. To do it.
I love it. So it is. It's time to get loud. SDSockers.com/tickets. Hey, avoid fees. 866-799-GOAL. 866-799-GOAL. Let's win the regular game. Let's get to the curb stop team deathmatch extra time mini game presented by Applebee's. Let's get it done. Let's get this thing done. Let's get this thing finished. Let's get the Sockers to the Ron Newman Cup Finals. And let's get back for episode 25 next week with that victorious theme.
I want nothing more, Kraig. Nothing more than that. I want to be here on Tuesday with everybody celebrating. That's what I want.
Celebrating, not commiserating. Celebrating. Let's do it. All right, that wraps the show. Special thanks to Sean Bowers for joining us live, for Kraig Chiles for taking time out of his hotel time in Chihuahua to join us as well, and to each and every one of you in the chat joining us live and also watching us on replay. We will be on the air on Twitch on the MASL_soccer channel Sunday at 5 o'clock. Nate Abarea and myself with the broadcast. Jerry will be manning the social media. Check out our Instagram story. Check out everything we have to offer. Until then, my friend, I will talk to you soon. Great work as always.
Thank you, sir. Really looking forward to seeing you all on Sunday. Be there or be square, as they say. Always a pleasure, sir. Let's get out of here.
For Jerry Jimenez, I'm Kraig Elston. This has been episode 24, season 4 of the Sockers Overtime program. Our backs against the wall, but we're coming out fighting. We'll see you Sunday. Go Sockers.